Hi, friends.
Hello, hello, friends. And a new face on our show. Here. Juan, right? What's your name again?
My Chinese name is Xing Huan, but I know it's difficult to say. So I have an English name is Kizi. You can call me Kizi.
Kiwi.
Kizi.
Kizi or Huan. Yeah, it's all fine.
Juan.
I also have a nickname called Seven Swords. I don't know why, but
we get to this in a second. Then.
Okay, it's fine. Call me Juan.
Now it's too late. Yeah. Interesting. So hello everybody to the show. Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking time being with us.
Yeah, thank you. Pleasure to have you here on the show.
And I think as I don't know you, and most people who watch us, they're not many, you know, but a few watch us, they don't know you. Maybe you want to introduce yourself quickly. Who are you? What are you? What are you doing? Where you come from? Where do you go? You know, all the stuff.
Okay, so shall I start?
Good, yes, of course, yeah.
Just talk.
Okay.
The stage is yours.
Okay, so hello everyone. My name is Xing Huan, and also I have English name is Kizi. You can call me Kizi. And I'm from China, and the city I'm living is called Nanjing. And Peter has been Nanjing maybe 2017, right? Doing
15.
a TV show. Yeah. 15. Okay. So now I'm selling bows in China. I buy bows from America and sell them in China doing this business. And
we reversed the system. Sorry, we reversed the system. He's selling American bows in China.
Yeah, but it makes sense. Yes. Because I think in this American longbows, I think that the Chinese bow manufacturers don't have that much knowledge in detail about how to build these bows.
Exactly. So here have some Chinese bowers doing American style bows, but it's only been a few years, at most 10 years. Yep. They don't have enough experience to make them perfection. Okay. So those very long history brands in America, of course, they are doing the best bows in the world, no doubt about it.
Okay.
So still a lot of actors wanted to buy bows from America because these bows are better quality, of course, but of course more expensive. So the Chinese bowers made them cheaper. So still have some guys buy Chinese bows, and also has a lot of people buying Chinese traditional bows, and it's super popular these days.
Yeah.
So it's the situation now.
Very good. Yeah, but you know that not everything from China is cheap. You know, this is a misconception of many guys in Western countries. I think everything from China is cheap crap. I mean, when you see mariner bows as example, they are $500-600. Or when you buy a bow from this guy in Beijing, the last bow builder, what's his name? Xing? I forgot his name now. He builds these old kind of like Manchurian bows.
They use horn to make bows.
Yeah, exactly. And before in China, there was the Olympic Games. Nobody knew him, and the bow from him was $300-400. After the Olympic game, they discovered him. They made him a nice workshop, and now every bow is $1,000 or more. So yeah, this is what you get.
I believe his name is Yang Fuxi, right?
Yang Fuxi, exactly. Yeah, Yang Fuxi.
Very popular.
You know your stuff very good.
He's a master bower. Oh, no doubt about it. So the Chinese bowers not very perfection for making American style bows, but for doing Chinese traditional bows, they are very, very good.
Yeah.
Because of course they are Chinese bows, of course they are good. And
of course.
And all these bows, still have a cheap one for the rookies. So those cheap bows use the laminated like fiberglass and bamboo, some stuff. But the really good ones always use a horn. I think the use a horn to make bows, it's more than 1,000-year history. It's a very long history.
Yeah, of course. And in every part of the world, even the Native Americans, the Indians, made bows from horn and with horn and so on. So it's around the world, but very special in Asia. All the Asian people making horn bows, no?
Or composite bows.
And And the shooting style with these bows are very different. They use their thumb to draw the string. Yes, use their thumb. Because in the Asian time, Asian people are shorter than these days, right? So if they want to do the long enough drawness, if you use 3 fingers, you can at most here, right? Yeah. So if you want to do a war, we want the arrow has more energy, more powerful. So you have to draw it much longer. So if you use your thumb, you can draw it much longer, like Qing dynasty, right? Very long. And this skill can shooting arrows on horse. When you're riding a horse, use your 3 fingers. It's hard because the arrow will bumping around. Yep. But use the thumb. You put your arrow at the right side of the bow, and you use your thumb hold the string, and use your finger to keep the arrow stick with the bow. So stability. So we can shoot.
I love this guy, but Peter will hate you because he still has a problem with thumb release.
No.
I should 95% of the time.
But I use 3 fingers. You know, I'm a big fan of American. I'm Chinese, but I really love American bows, so I use this skill.
We have to.
Not a thumb.
I'm not angered about that in no way, because I love to hear the different explanations why the thumb draw came along. And here's a different explanation because of shorter people and so on. It's interesting.
Yeah, of course.
Yes. And still, you see, most of the world thinks Chinese people hate Japanese, but the truth is no at all. A lot of people in China now also shooting Japanese longbows because the traditional culture in Japan, they keep it so much better than us. It's truth. We lost some traditional culture in the history because the history is very long.
Because of
Japanese guys,
because of Mao Zedong.
Yes.
You lost your history.
So we are not allowed to talk about that.
I see.
Yes. But these days, a lot of guys very admire Japanese traditional cultures. So they started to learn the Japanese longbows. And we call it Gong Dao. Gong means bow. Dao means a way or
the way of the bow.
I cannot translate that. So it's very different. It's all about culture, all about your mind. It's not just about the skill, how to move your body. It also has a lot traditional rules and cultures, and it's like
spiritual thing. A spiritual,
spiritual thing. So it's very different.
Armin loves that spiritual stuff.
No, it's simply because you can't. If you see archery only as a physical thing, then you lack the internal thing. So it's always body, mind, and soul. And if you don't combine it properly, no martial art will work properly. No proper archery will work.
Yes, and that's the point I'm always saying. If you're doing proper, functional archery, so you are spiritual by itself. You don't have to think about it, because if you're able to shoot precisely and hit your target, you are automatically in the right spirit, in the right status of your mind.
Asians need a bit wider, but basically. Fine, we leave it like this, yes.
Yes. If you want to be a good archer, you always need your mind.
But even the internal work, when you read the old descriptions from China, that the ancient archers always did some qigong for building up their internal strength.
Qigong, the qi.
Not only external strength, not only muscles that you do with breathing exercises and your tendons, you strengthen yourself from the inside. Yes. And it was one thing they had to do.
Yes, the Asian masters believe they can use the energy around the world. They can use this energy in their body and do the stuff.
But it works. You know, a few years ago, I was in Wudangshan, in the Wudang Mountains, And I was in one of these martial arts schools, and then I saw what these masters and even master students are capable of. And I do Tai Chi Chuan since, I don't know, 15, 20 years. But then I thought I know nothing about it when I saw these guys acting. So this is insane what they are capable of doing. So
yes.
there is something to it for sure.
Yes, for them, the martial arts is not a way to kill, to fight each other. It's a way to, understand yourself.
Yep.
To see yourself, to who you really are, and to understand the world and the natural. It's about those stuffs. It's not just a kill skill. So they put this to a very high level, beyond my mind. And I really admire them.
Yep. Nice.
Okay. I don't say anything.
sometimes
yes, we can talk about something. Everyone can understand it.
because if you say these martial arts or archery is a way to know yourself, so the first idea is that you don't know yourself. That's the first
not fully
conclusion. But who says that?
Maybe. Everybody who is in the ego mind.
Okay. So because I'm a narcissistic egoist, I know myself.
No, you don't know yourself. You think that you can't. You only can know yourself without knowing it.
Yeah.
You are a master now. Of course, you can figure all this out. So we can talk about something everyone can understand now, I think.
Yeah. No, we talk about both again. So you met 2015 in Nanjing, and then afterwards directly you decided to import Bosna from America and make a business, or how was it?
No, the story is much longer actually.
Okay.
Okay, if you want to hear, I will. Okay, let me tell you this story.
Of course.
Actually, I started to archery at 2012. There was an archery club on the way. I every day went to work. So I saw this archery club every day. Went to work or after work. So at the last month in the 2012, finally one day I went into that archery club and tried to do some archery. Of course, I used a recurve bow, the Olympic recurve bow. To start archery. And I just fall in love with it. Just fall in love. And I'm doing the recurve bow for a year. After a year, one day, I know there has a bow called American longbow in the world. And after I tried this, oh my God, it opened my mind. It's so freedom. It's so cool. It's so different with the Olympic competition bow, because the competition recurve bow is so complicated, so many rules. But for longbows, traditional bows, there has no rules. You can do anything you want. It's freedom. So I totally fall in love with traditional bows. So at the 2013, I bought my first traditional longbow. It's made in China. It's a RD longbow. We call it RD, reflex and deflex longbow. I loved that bow. It's a very good bow. And played like, then I keeping shooting the longbow for 2 years. At 2015, one day I did some research. So I always like to do some research about the things I like, not just archery, but of course I spend a lot of time on research all the knowledges, information of archery. So I know there had a legend archer called Howard Hill. He's like the greatest archer in history. So I think maybe I can buy one of his bow. So I do the research. Then I found out, oh, there has a brand called Howard Hill Archery. Then I found the web page. Then I saw all those things on the page. Oh my God, blow my mind. I must got one of these. And back to that day, my English is not very good, but I still write an email, send it to Craig. Yeah, we all know Craig. You can write the bow of Howard Hill Archery. And he replied me recently, very fast. He replied me. He says, of course, he can send the bow to China, no problem at all. So I bought one. I did a lot of research. I bought one, and surprisingly, after only 2 weeks, the bow finished. Only 2 weeks. I think it's the fastest custom bow ever. So here we go. This one is that bow. I still keep it. I love this bow. I still keep it. This is my precious treasures. So, and also, this is the first Howard Hill archery longbow in China ever. It's the first one in China. So it means a lot for me. And the model is Big 5, the most iconic longbow in, Peter knows that, right? The 5 big, it's very iconic. And the handle riser, I used Cocobolo. Oh, this wood is very attractive wood. I love this wood. And also use the Cocobolo on the tip overlays. Full length of bamboo, of course. But at that time, I shooting with a very weird style. So I shooting like this. My draw lines were very short, only 24 inches. I'm a very tall guy, actually. So at that day, I shooting like the Native American, like this, like Native American style. So I ordered this for only 24 inches draw line. So, but after 1 or 2 years later, I hurted myself badly. And I talked to Peter at that time. I hurted all the tendons on these fingers. So I realized I have to stop this. I don't have the physics. My body is not that strong. I cannot hold this style because it hurted me. I know a lot of people can doing shooting with this style very accurate, but it hurted me. So I had to change my shooting style. So I had a rest for a couple months and ordered another one. This time it's 28 inches draw length. So I use this bow mostly. This is my second favorite bow. I use it for a very long time. I did a lot of videos with this one. Let me show you guys. Okay. So this is my second Howard Hill longbow. It's called Wasp.
Wasp.
Yes, the Wasp. Yeah. This one used osage and honey locust with the lamps. So this kind of wood are more stiffer than bamboo, very stiff wood. So it gives me a very powerful strength to shoot. I love it a lot. And also I let Craig sign on it, you see, Craig an autograph. And on this side, there has a name. This name is my grandfather's name. He passed away in 2014, so I wanted to remember him. So
an honor to him. Nice.
I love my father.
That's very nice.
Because I don't have a very good relationship with my father, but very good with my grandfather. So this one, I love it a lot. But I used it too much in the hottest day, in the coldest day, in the rain, in snowing. So the fiberglass on it has been a little crash last year. So I have to stop using it. So I got
Yuan, you just have to refinish it with clear lacquer. It's no problem. I had the same problem because the Howard Hill archery has a very bad lacquer, very bad finish. Once I was in a tournament in the rain and you could rub off the clear finish. And so I wrote to Craig, I said, what about that? I got 2 bows and every 2 of them, etc. And he said, just re-lacquer them and no problem. And then I gave it to a friend who made it wonderful, high gloss, clear lacquer, no problem.
I know Craig can do that. But
you can do it. You can do it.
I know I can do it, but for myself, because I'm not a guy that's very good. I don't know that word, that matter. Because for myself, I want to keep the bow stay this way, because I have a lot beautiful memories with it. Even though I'm not using it anymore, but I want to keep it this way. I know I can refix
Makes sense.
it. Just it's about a memory for me. That's why I love this bow. So that's for me. And the way why I'm doing the business selling bows is totally an accident, not on purpose. After I got my first Hirmer longbow in China, and I did a video about testing it and introduce it, how about it shooting, and that video just became very popular. Almost every archer in China watched it. I don't know why, it's just popular. So a lot of guys asked me about our Hirmer longbows, how to buy them, how many different options of them. And one day, one guy told me, why don't you sell them yourself?
Yeah.
Yes, why? So, okay, let me sell them. No problem at all. So that's the way I sell. I'm doing this business, sell them. It's totally accident, not on purpose.
One thing you're wrong, because the first guy putting the Howard longbow to China was Peter.
Oh yes, yeah, that's you. Yes. That is you on that TV show. Yes, that is you, Peter.
But he wasn't a Chinese guy, so it doesn't count.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're not Chinese. and you bring it back. You brought it back. Yeah, that counts.
Yeah. And you have seen the television show where I was in Nanjing?
Of course. When it was on air, I called everyone I know to watch that show to say, that's my friend Peter. That is my friend. That's my honest day ever. Everyone watched that show. They said, oh, so cool this guy. How cool this guy. How handsome, how stylish about this guy. Who is he? He's my friend. Thanks a lot, Peter.
Was a wonderful stay there in Nanjing. Wonderful people, wonderful everything. Everybody was just nice to me. When I came to China, to Nanjing, they treated me like Elvis Presley. Really. Sometimes I had a kind of a bad feeling because they treated me like a star. And Zhang Chuan, the Chinese Olympic archer, they don't treat her so nice as they treated me. It was wonderful people.
People in Nanjing are always very nice.
Yeah. I just can confirm that. And
actually, you are a star. You are.
A little one, a small one. So are they still making this show? Is this show still running?
No, they are not keep making that show. After you went to that show,
they quit.
They came down. Then they came down. You are there. Top
peak.
Monday, after that, it's just going down.
Didn't get any better, so they stopped now. Yeah.
They really couldn't do it any better than you came there.
And it was interesting because the Chinese directors or the Chinese television station also asked Byron Ferguson. And Byron, I called Byron Ferguson and said, hey, Byron, I got this offer from this Chinese show and they also asked you, I know about it. And I like to talk the Chinese into inviting us both and we are competing. But Byron said, oh, I have another engagement for an American television station. So he didn't realize what a big show this would be. So he was very easy to say, oh, you are on yourself, Peter, make it yourself. And so I was the guy over there.
No, yeah.
That is his biggest loss.
yeah. We had him on the show. You watched the show, Juan? We had Byron on our talk show.
Talk show?
In this broadcast.
No, I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, you have to check it out on my channel.
He's too busy selling bows. Yeah.
Busy selling bows.
Yeah. Do you watch other YouTube channels or something, Juan?
Yes, of course. I watch a lot of YouTube channels, but most of them about cars. You know.
Okay.
Actually, I'm not very talk about this a lot because first of all, I'm totally petrol head. Peter knows that. Yes. Second of all, I'm an archer.
Okay.
So I watch most YouTube channels about cars. I'm very admire about the restoring old cars.
Yeah.
It's an art for me, so I love watching.
I understand.
It's just like an artwork. Those cars are amazing.
I love this because you say it. I love the restoring stuff with everything. When I get a very old bow, I love to refinish it and put him, so to say, back to life.
Yeah,
with old guns, it's the same, or with old cars. I love to get them back into business. They were stored somewhere, nobody looked at this stuff, and then you buy it, you make it nice, and it's in business again. I love this.
Yeah, I think you know that guy. It's called Gregory or what on the YouTube. He did some restoring about old bows, and he's the guy. He loves the 3D archery. He did a lot of videos about 3D archery. Yeah, and some videos of him. He did this restoring old bows. Oh, that's also very beautiful.
Yeah,
those bows in 1950 or 60s, very beautiful.
Yeah,
I think almost every stuff made in 1950 or 60s are beautiful.
They are high quality. Yeah.
And they had character, especially the cars. They had some character. Nowadays, when you look at cars, one looks like the other. You don't even know which brand is it anymore. And in these times, you could tell it's a Ford, it's a Chevy, it's whatever, you know it.
Everyone was a unique style, not everything streamlined.
Yes.
So, Juan, we have a special feature in our broadcast, and we always like to show the knife of the week. So, do you have a favorite knife you can show us?
Of course, I have one.
Oh.
As we know, I'm a big fan of American stuff. So, of course, I have a Bowie knife.
Wow.
American fighting knife.
That's a nice one.
Steel, you see?
Oh, wow.
It's handmade. It's a knife maker. It's a blacksmith in China. And it's very good. You can see that.
Yeah, it's a big knife.
It's
nice.
Looks good.
But I cannot show it around because actually it's illegal in China.
Yeah.
I can only keep it in my phone and just looking at it. But I cannot use it properly. I cannot do hunting or what.
So in China, the length of the blade is limited?
Yes, it has to be under, I think it has to be under 10 centimeters or what. I'm not sure. But kitchen knives are all legal. Yeah. Everybody needs a kitchen knife. So kitchen knives.
I just wanted to say, simply tell the police guy you're a kitchen chef and that's your knife. So let me go.
Yeah, I can do that. If the policeman asks me, I can do that.
I do special kitchen.
You're cooking him. You're cooking.
The potting knife has a guard and it's very long and has this tip point, so it's illegal. It's dangerous. What we can do?
Not a lot, no.
You can say you're a kitchen chief cooking Texan food, US Texas food, and so you need that Bowie knife.
I cook Howard Hill style. What's that? You have no idea, but I need this knife for it.
One, do you know that old where the popularity of these Bowie knives came up? there was the battle at Alamo in Texas. You know, there was that Jim Bowie.
Yes, I know that Jim Bowie.
You know the story.
Hero.
Yeah,
yes, yeah. I know that story. That's why I love Bowie knife.
Yeah, that's a nice old movie with John Wayne, who he even produced this Alamo movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know this. Nice. You have to check it out. It's a nice movie. Armin knows it for sure.
No.
Yeah, I will check it out. Yeah, yeah, it has a lot of classic movies I haven't watched. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, Armin, do you got the knife?
Of course. Mine is very small compared to this. It's the Campagnolo. It's a companion, which you have always with you. It's from an American guy who lives now in Italy. It's Corey Fox is his name. And he builds these incredible, beautiful small knives. And you have here a chipping on the top, so you can hold it and you can really work with this knife. You can do almost everything. And this is one of the blades. It goes really completely straight. So the grind is it's sharp, and I used it so for many things. I always do my unboxings and stuff and cut wood with it, but this is still the first grind. It's still razor sharp. You still can shave yourself with this knife, and it's a small handle, you could think, but it's really, you hold it really nice in your hand. You grab it on, you can really work with it. So he once said, I need to make you a nice knife, and it was a gift from him. So Corey Fox is a really nice knife maker, but he makes kitchen knives too.
Yeah, it can be a kitchen knife.
I had, I think, a folding knife made by that Fox company. Mm-hmm. These are very nice and strong knives. It had meat cutter handle and so on. These are not very expensive.
No, not very expensive. This is kind of like 150 euros, maybe 130, 150. When you see it's a full tang that goes completely through, but it's not simply flat grinded there. It's slightly a bump on it. So the metal is always a little higher than the handle. It's really so well made. And then you see
what's the material on your handle? It's the micarta or
this is kind of like with micarta,
Micarta, yes.
I like that. I like that.
That's really nice.
And a nice sheath too, a nice little sheath.
Yeah, and there was a small, I don't have it on me now, there's a small buckle where you can then safe lock it that it doesn't come out. But I had it like this in my pocket, so I could deploy it directly without a second action.
Looks nice. Good. Looks very nice. Looks very
good.
Nice.
Now you, Peter, show us your knife of the week.
I have here a Finnish knife.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I think the maker, the brand is H. Roselli. Mm-hmm. And I got it from an Austrian colonel who also loved knives. And one time he said he liked to sell some, and that one he gave as a gift to me. And, you know, for usually it's like that, but I like it to wear it like that because then it's higher on the belt like that.
Yeah.
And it has a very nice,
pretty,
like hand, how you call it, hand-smithed blade. And it's, you can get it very sharp. It is a nice handle with a little guard here. And I guess that's kind of birch root wood or so. It's made like that classic Finnish knives. It is a nice size also for cooking and for everything. I really like it. It's very traditional. Like it.
And in my mind, it just realized it can be an assassin's knife. It's small and
yeah, you can do everything.
Has neck here and right, like an assassin knife.
Yeah. There's a nice big handle, so you won't get onto the edge here.
The handle is very good.
Very nice. Yeah.
Cool.
That's one I like. And sometimes I put one of these hunting knives into my kitchen and I cook a little with. So I cutting onions and meat and so. And then after some weeks, I put it back into the drawer and use another one because you are all knife fetishists. So if a knife is really nice and sharp and you slice through onions, so it's kind of wonderful feeling to me, or tomatoes or something. I feel very good when I use a good knife for cooking.
Of course, always.
Yeah. Oh, we have the knife of the week. Great. Great.
Done.
Job done.
Great.
Maybe a little off topic, but last broadcast we talked about Robin Hood and the legend of Robin Hood. And I forgot one thing, maybe it's also interesting to Kizi. In that book by James C. Holt, who made a kind of research about the Robin Hood character and the history of Robin Hood, he also connected the Robin Hood character with the green dress and the green tights to the green man from the woods. To they have in May, like in Germany, we have kind of May celebrations. And the green man was a kind of fertility guy, the wild man from the woods, like a green ghost from the woods. And they had a May king who had a May princess. And they also said that the Maid Marian character was the May princess and the Robin Hood. What I like to say is there are lots of different facets to this character. And they don't know if the green clothing, the green tights came from that May king or green man character, and they just put it on the Robin Hood character and so on. And that's a kind of interesting aspect of very old Celtic legends they put into that Robin Hood.
Yeah, but you know we had another green guy from the woods coming out, but then since Coca-Cola he's dressed in red and his name is Santa Claus. Satan Claus, Santa Claus. He was green, but then Coca-Cola came up and then they dressed him in red for marketing purpose.
And connected to this is also the term the green wood. It's a special term for a kind of mystic wood, the green, like in the fairy tales, the green wood and so on. And that's that May celebration, that May event was a kind of spring fest, a fest they did in spring, like Easter. And there's also that May tree they erect also in your country. And at this event, they celebrated the victory of the new life in spring. With kind of games and plays, and in England they also had kind of fighting games at these May events, May fests, and so on. And one of the main compartments of this event was the May King and the May Queen. So this was a green couple and so on. It's very interesting.
So this traditional holiday or the ceremony is actually connection with the story, Robin Hood story.
With what?
We have some. So the traditional holiday and the ceremony you talked, it actually has connection with the Robin Hood story, right?
Yes, that's in this Robin Hood book. It's a good book.
That's a new knowledge for me. I never thought they are connection each other.
It's interesting.
You said it. It just makes sense. Yes, of course.
It's like a mystic green man who comes out from the woods and marries the new queen and so on.
I love these history stories.
You like your own history. You like your own history too, with Hu Yi, the archer, who shot 9 out of 10 suns from the sky and all this stuff. You like it too?
Of course. Everyone likes Robin Hood, I think.
Not Robin Hood, Hu Yi. You're Robin Hood. The Robin Hood of China. General Hu Yi.
Hu Yi, yes, it's a China's Asian story. It's a very, very old story. They said there had 10 suns in the sky, and the day was ridiculous hot. The rivers were dry, the sea were dry, everything is dry, is destroying. So there has a guy called Hu Yi. He's like archery guard He's so good. So he shot it down 9 of those sons, left only 1 son. So everyone is happy. The river come back to water, the sea will fall water, and the people can go back to their lives. So he became a hero. Of course, he's not a real man in history, but I believe they had a very good archer in ancient history.
Tell us about.
Maybe it's basic on the real man. Yes, so that's the story. It's not a long story. And back to the Sanguo dynasty. You see after the Han dynasty, they split to 3 kingdoms. The 3 kingdoms that time, a lot good warriors came out. So there has one of this guy called Lü Bu. He's the strongest, the best warrior in that time, Lü Bu. And he has a story. He stopped a war by shooting 1 arrow, just 1 arrow. That's the story. These guys and another guys wanted to fight, wanted to have a war. And this Lü Bu came out, said, you should stop this war. And they said, why? Why should we listen to you? And the Lü Bu said, okay, I put a spear. The Chinese spear is different like the European spear. It's a Chinese spear. It's like this. The point like this, Chinese spear. So I put it at the gate of the army, at the gate, and I go back to 100 yards or 100 feet because the system is different. So we don't know actually, but it's a very long distance. Okay, then he draw the bow and aiming to this point of the spear. He said, if I shoot this point on the spear, you should stop the war. The other guy said, of course, you shoot it, because they believe he cannot do that. And he just draw the bow and shoot right on it. Just shoot right on it. Then he stopped the war.
Nice.
It became a legendary.
Nice story. Good story.
Yeah, it becomes the 3 kingdoms.
After the war stopped, there was peace between the kingdoms. Is it right? Okay.
Yes, but very shortly peace.
Only for a short time, of course.
But they stopped that time. Yeah, they had peace that time.
So Armin and me invented a new movement, the shooting for peace movement. And that was shooting for peace. No, we made 1 shot, and after it, there was peace.
Yeah,
for 2 weeks.
1 shot, 2 peace.
Yeah,
a nice story. Nice story. Yeah.
Did you ever read the book Chinese Archery from Stephen Selby?
No, I haven't read that book.
He made really a lot of digging and researching, and he works, I think, somewhere at a university in Hong Kong or something. I don't know exactly. And he was really digging up a lot of stories, even with this Hu Yi and another General Yi, where the student challenged the master and always shot 1 arrow against each other, and the arrows hit in the air, and the next, and the next, and the next. And on a lot of these stories, it's very interesting. Even the Gao Yin, he had a special inchworm technique in shooting. He explained this. It's a really interesting book. So if you're into your own archery tradition, you might want to read it once.
I have to read it.
Actually, I never heard about this book. I don't know why. I did many research.
It's called Chinese Archery by Stephen Selby. You'll find it easily.
Yeah, I want to read that.
It's really interesting.
Fascinating. Yeah, it just sounds very interesting. I'd want to read that.
Once you have time, once you don't watch car YouTube videos, you petrolhead.
People always like the different culture for them because it's different. It's exciting.
Understand. Cool. How is life now in Nanjing now with all the situation, or how is this? With this.
Actually, everything is back to normal these days.
Okay.
Everything. Only one difference. Every time you want to go to somewhere, out of the gate, you have to show something to prove you are healthy.
Okay.
And put your mask on. That's all.
Okay.
All the other things are same. Yeah.
And do you have a kind of lockdown in Nanjing? You weren't allowed to go out?
Only had like 1 or 2 weeks at the time the virus just start.
Yeah.
It's last year. Only 1 or 2 weeks. Very short.
You see, Armin?
Yeah. No. I never seen Armin.
No. I say, you see, Armin, we over here in Europe, we had lockdowns after lockdown after lockdown for months. And in China, where the virus came from,
first place, so to
first
say,
place, they had 2 weeks just in the beginning of the virus pandemic.
And we will have the next lockdown in autumn again. Hilarious.
So, but that's if we want to talk about that's the problem, because of the Chinese government is a very strong to control their people. I should use this.
Okay, nicely formulated.
I hate this government, no doubt about it. I hate this government, no doubt about it.
Kizi, you're wrong. You're wrong. They just protect you. You don't understand. They only protecting you.
Yes, but the good way is they can protect us from this.
From everything.
Yes, knives, guns.
I mean,
even modified cars. You know, buy second-hand cars from another country is illegal in China. It's ridiculous. How the cars can what?
I mean, on the other side, when you see that the quality of Facebook, let's say, and when the Chinese government said, no, we block simply Facebook, it's not necessarily a bad thing, right? You see what is going on Facebook with fact checking, you know, you write something and then you get directly into Facebook jail because it doesn't follow their agenda, because you speak the truth and then they lock you in Facebook jail for a few weeks. You can't post anything. So, I mean, where is freedom of speech? Facebook is on your platform where you can say something, as long as you don't do hate speech or whatever, it should be fine. No, but it's not the case anymore. So that's why having no Facebook is not that big thing.
Yes, I have to use a special software to use the Facebook or watch YouTube or anything else. Yeah.
Not that they come after you.
What would they do if someone would report you, hey, this guy is using Facebook and stuff? What would your authorities do? How would they punish you somehow, or?
Well, it's like this. You watch Facebook or YouTube, it's just fine. If you watch, for example, like archery stuff or car stuff, it's totally fine. Just don't watch anything about politics. Just don't watch those. You are fine. Yeah. Just don't watch those. And I'm not interested in those stuffs. I'm only interested in archery and cars and headphones. And pretty girls, of course.
Of course. So you Chinese people are not different than we are. You like beautiful girls, archery, and nice cars.
Yes, people are same in the world. We are all people. There's no difference.
True, very true.
People.
Yeah. And are you into an archery club in your area in Nanjing, or where are you able to shoot your bow?
We have a lot of archery clubs in our country, but most of them are indoor, just indoor. But we can still get at most 30 meters distance. This is long enough. Yes, and at holiday or some days we can go to out of the town, find some wild place, some woods, and shooting outdoor. Yes, it can be done. As I know, there has at least 10 archery clubs in Nanjing, just in Nanjing. At least have 10 archery clubs. And the most time back to the 2015 to 2017. Most time there had 30 archery clubs in Nanjing, just in one city. Those days, the archery were very popular.
But you have to tell how many people are living in Nanjing.
Oh, let's see. It's more than 10 million. It's more than 10 million people.
I think it's 30 millions, no?
It feels like it.
Because I'm not sure. Because I'm not very care about this sociality news. So I'm not sure. But of course, more than 10 million, maybe 30 million, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's
a lot of people.
Big city. And we also have one standard question for all our guests from around the world. And the question is, were there female warriors in Chinese history?
Female warriors. Yes, there has a book called The Warriors of Yang Family. That family's name is Yang. And the famous warrior of that Yang family was a female, was a woman. But I never read that book. I only know this story a little bit. Yeah, that's and it's a real story in history. It's a real thing. There has a Yang family. The elder of their family was a man, Mr. Yang, and he died on a battlefield. And then his daughter take the army, put the army on, ride a war horse, go to the battlefield, killing everyone else, became a hero. That is the history. That's the true history of female warriors. And the Hua Mulan, Hua Mulan actually not sure she's truth or just a character, because there has only one policy. What do you call that? Policy.
Poem, one story, one.
One story. That's it. She only in that story, so it's not on the real the real deal history book. She's not on that. So we are not sure she's real or just a character. But the story of Hua Mulan, I think everyone knows, thanks to Disney. Thanks to Disney.
So what we can say is at least one real female warrior was there in history.
But at least one. I believe
but of course, you need to see that in all these martial arts schools, the women were not allowed to train and to practice. So they were always excluded. They were only the men allowed, and the women were not allowed to train. And then they changed it later on, or when it's in the family, then maybe, but an external was not allowed. So it was really hard for women to get somewhere.
You know why, Armin?
No.
Because someone had to take care for the kids and had to do the cooking and washing the dress.
You know, there had one time in history, the woman was very powerful. The Tang Dynasty, there has a woman empire called Wu Zetian. He's the only woman empire, not king empire.
Nice.
Empress. She's a woman emperor who rules all the empire.
The whole Tang Dynasty.
So at that time, women were very powerful. I think that time women maybe can get martial arts or whatever. But I'm not a historian, so I am not sure. But I'm sure at that time women were powerful.
Look, until next time, we will invite you again, but then you read these books and you inform yourself, because we will ask you again. I'm not sure. Yes, there is something, but I didn't read the book, And knowing everything about the four-stroke engine, carburetor and everything, but nothing about his history.
I know cost more than China's history.
And Kizi, why was this female emperor because her husband died, or how it worked out that she became emperor instead of the male son, or I don't know.
This history I know. I actually know, because there has a lot of TV shows talking about it. So I know this one. Okay. So first of all, she's just one of those wife wives of his king, of her king. Okay, and she married to this king, emperor, not king. She married to this emperor. Okay, first at all, she's not the emperor, not very like her, even though she was very beautiful. But after the time, she's very intelligent. So she do all those social stuff and politics stuffs in the palace. She just came up, climbing up. So she let the emperor attention on her. And she used her intelligence, let the emperor fall in love with her. Then time came after sometimes the emperor just crazy about her, very trusted her, let her, then started to let her rule some part of the empire. So she into this game, into the political game, but didn't have a lot of power, just a few power. And when the emperor get older and older, his health is getting very bad. So he has a lot head attack, and at the end of his years, he even couldn't see. He became blind. So at that time, actually, this Wu Zetian is actually the ruler of the whole country, whole empire. Then a couple years later, the emperor just died. Of course, for the law at that time, his biggest son should be the emperor, of course. But this woman is very cold and very strong. She killed every son, even her own son. He killed her own son. Then she became the emperor.
I understand.
So that's the story. She's very intelligent and very cold, very powerful woman.
That's how the females were suppressed over the centuries. You see, very suppressed.
But there is this movie, The Great Wall, with what was it, Mark Wahlberg or something? It was a few years ago, came in the cinemas, and then he was one of these Western guys.
Yeah, that's a bad
The Great Wall, and then they fought these weird animals, these weird creatures. And when at the end the old general was injured and he died, and then he gave the medallion of power to this girl, to the woman, and she was then in charge of this whole war recruits. So
in Hollywood,
of course, in Hollywood,
in the movie,
in the movie, yeah. I mean, you need to see that this guy was trained and by Laosh Kashai again, so it's.
But the character of McDonald in that movie, his archery skill is impressive.
Yeah, of course, CGI makes it possible. Yes, of course.
He's actually a very great archer.
Yeah, hey, in front of a green screen, I am too.
Yes, of course, not he himself. So in the Asian history time, so if a woman wants power, she has to do a lot of cold things. It has to be a lot of blood, but not these days. So we are living a good time.
Or she is smart, or she's smart like this young woman with the yellow emperor, you know, that he had this young woman, she was always telling him everything from the side. The yellow emperor who wrote the book about health 5,000 years ago. The yellow emperor, you know?
Yellow emperor, yeah.
And he had this one woman, a young woman, she was always, you know, she was always telling him things. So, you know, if you want to blah, blah, blah. So she was influencing the emperor.
That's not the yellow emperor. It's called Zhou Wang. Yes, his name is Zhou.
I don't know.
And the woman's name is Daji. The story said she is a fox who transformed into a beautiful woman and hooked on the king. King Zhou, and telling him all those things, mess around his mind and let the people suffering.
See, but, even Jimi Hendrix knew about her. He wrote a song, Foxy Lady. That's a bad joke now. Okay.
There's also a Japanese legend about kitsune. These were foxes, and they were beautiful women who transformed themselves into foxes. It's like an old legend, also in Japan.
Yeah. So yes, actually, a lot history stories are very familiar to each other. Maybe in history, some things actually happened, but we don't know. We have only these stories.
You first,
okay.
Peter?
Okay.
No, you, Peter. I changed the topic now.
I don't know. Once I read somewhere that the original people in Japan were different people, and today's Japanese are coming from China. Were coming from China, and they wiped out the native people which were living there. I don't know. I don't remember their name. And so there was a different kind of population in Japan, and a lot of the culture, because we talk about the legends, was brought over from China. I don't know if it's true.
Yes, but we don't know. Nobody knows about it. There actually has some connection with each other, but we don't know. Because many years ago, you know what? The Native Americans actually came from China. You know that?
No.
Million years ago.
They don't know. This week or last week, I saw a documentary. It was about Tibet, about Shangri-La, about that legendary valley of Shangri-La, which came up from a fiction story, and it was a today's documentary, a today's movie, and they went there to Nepal or Tibet. I don't remember. I think Tibet, and there were some tribes with blonde hairs and blue eyes in the Tibetan area. So it's very interesting. And there are also some legends of the South Sea, of the Pacific islands, that they descended from Ireland, from the north. It's very interesting. And on the other hand, on the Andaman Islands, they genetically found out that these are the true original black people which came from Africa along the coasts. They traveled to the Andaman Islands and so on. So it's crisscross around the world, I think.
Because million years ago, all these continentals are actually connected. There has land between these continentals. So
yes, the sea level was lower.
Yes.
That simply explains that there were aliens and UFOs, and they simply genetically modified us and put us everywhere, in every corner of the world, to see how we deal with it. I have my aluminum hat is over there. Yes, so I don't know.
But I have to share this via a link in the future. Very interesting research in the southern seas, in the Pacific. They also in Hawaii and in New Zealand, they have native blue-eyed people, red-haired and so on. Very interesting.
Even in New Zealand.
And you know what? To sail along the coast, as long as you can see the coast, you can go around the world with very simple boats, no?
And then when you see that maybe all these plates were together once, you know, there's this theory that
the continental drift,
one big continent, and then they drifted apart. Maybe in this time they were a little closer together.
I don't believe that theory.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I went to Australia for a month. I stayed there in a month. So I met some people very interesting. They are native Australians. They call them Aboriginal.
Yeah.
And they look very different from modern people, even African people. They look very differently. First time I saw one of them, I think, who is he? Who is this guy? He doesn't look like African people. He doesn't look like anything. So I asked them, talked to them. Oh, they are native of Australia. They are Aboriginals. It's fascinating. They have their own language. They have their own art. They are very interesting people. And you see, in Australia is an island. It's an island. So that's fascinating.
And what they say that they could communicate through different ways, that they simply made an appointment date and a place, and then they all went there without telephone, without messaging, because they had this mind.
Aluheads.
I think that these native tribes are way further developed than we might think.
Why should they? Why should they?
Because they are not distracted with mobile phones and computers and Zoom calls and stuff like this.
But I'm pretty sure the guy I met used a phone.
Yeah, of course, they have a phone now. Yeah, maybe they lost it now, these capabilities.
Maybe they lost this skill. Lost the power.
But I mean, because you say this, they're the same stories from the Native Americans. They said they could talk to the animals. They were shape-shifting to animals and so on. So
Peter, everybody can talk to an animal. If the animal understands you, it's a different thing,
Of course.
I mean, I can talk to an elephant and say, "Hey, you elephant." If he understands me, is another thing,
But I mean,
I understand.
So stories like that are around the world. Think about our werewolf legends. They are shapeshifters, humans transforming into wolves.
We still have shapeshifters, but now in monarchies and but we don't talk about this today.
I think it's in Hollywood.
Are there in Chinese legends? Are there also stories about kind of werewolves and shapeshifting entities?
Oh, actually, we have these stories. Like in China's history, that how the human being being created, there has a goddess called Nuwo, the goddess. She has the top body like human, beautiful human woman, and the other part of her body is snake. Her has the snake bottom body and human body.
And now I tell you one more thing about that, because in Mesopotamia, I think where the Sumerians and the Babylonians were, they had exactly a goddess with an upper female body and the lower body of a snake. So that's very
Medusa, right? It's called Medusa or Medusa.
No. Medusa was a gorgon. It's another kind of entity, but
this is what we are talking about now, are these shape-shifting reptiloids, we still have them. So these reptilians are still, and then even in Chinese history, then there were always this relation to dragons and to snakes. And it was simply always these shapeshifters, they ruled the ruler. It's like it's now.
Like today.
So I still believe something actually happened in ancient time. Something actually happened.
Yeah, because the interesting part is that you have legends like this around the world, from very ancient times to China.
All the stories are very similar to each other. So
always reptilian.
Something actually happened.
And what you also have in every culture around the world, you have old stories about giants and dwarfs, about the little people and the tall people. Very interesting. And the dragons.
Shapeshifters, yes, of course.
And snakes with wings. The winged snake is all around the world, this kind of symbol. And even our European dragons were kind of snakes with wings.
Yes. And some men can fly, some story like that.
Yeah.
It's all the same all around the world. So
yeah. And you know that, Juan, you know that old European stories about they are dating back to the Germans and the Vikings and so on, but they are retold in Christianity. And so the heroes always rode out to a lonely valley where a big dragon lived, and the dragon was protecting a big treasure, a big vault of rich.
Always like that.
Yeah, yeah. And the knight has to rode out with his sword and to kill the dragon and to save the princess and so on. Everywhere around the world, it's the same story. It's very interesting.
But the dragons in China's history stories are different.
They're not bad. They are not bad. In our culture, they are bad beings.
Yes, but in China's histories, not history, just the stories, the dragons are holy.
Yeah,
They are holy. They are gods. They can make rain. They can make
but
fire anything.
You know what? I think in the very early times, it was the same here in Europe and so on. But through the Christianity, they made the bad thing out of the dragon, I think.
Yeah, it can be.
And maybe the dragon actually was some alien spaceship.
Maybe.
Yeah,
but you know that it's always
the dragon can make rain, can make a lot of mystery stuff. So it's pretty much like a technology, very high technology.
What I found so interesting, because also in modern stories, there are fragments of these old stories. And shortly ago, I saw the first James Bond movie, James Bond and Dr. No. And Dr. No...
the first Bond movie.
Yeah, and Dr. No was on this island where Sean Connery found Ursula Andress, Honey Child Rider, where she sings that lovely song. She came out of the sea like the Venus, like in the old Greek sagas, like Venus from the sea. And then they went to the place where Dr. No had his compound, and there they fought a dragon, because Dr. No had a kind of special car. The people thought it's a dragon at night.
It's a dragon,
So they fought the dragon again. It's the same old story with the princess or with the Venus out of the sea and the dragon and so on. It's always the same story. And that's
the hero is very handsome.
Oh yeah, Ursula Andress. Oh yeah.
Sean Connery is so handsome.
Yeah.
And I'm a man. I'm still.
And she sings that lovely song, Underneath the Mango Tree.
Mango tree.
Yeah, very nice. Right? It's epic scene. No? And then James Bond sings along with her, and then she detects him with the knife, and it's very nice. Very nice.
Nice. Yeah, but in China, it's even said that the immortals, like in Wudang Mountain, when some of these masters, they practice for decades, and then they turn into immortals, they fly away with the dragon into the sky. So the dragons are kind of like even the vehicle between the material world and the other world, kind of.
And the same is true in the old Nordic sagas, when they flew into heaven on a special horse.
Yeah.
When that feature, you would know it, Armin, Dietrich from Bern. He didn't die, but a special horse took him into the heavens, so he never died. It's the same story.
Yeah. Interesting for sure, and it's so many similarities that there is really something going on with these reptiles. Back to conspiracy theories. Yeah.
Of course.
I like that. No, I'm joking. We are not so. Now, what I wanted to ask you, did you ever shoot a proper Asian bow, or only English longbows or American longbows? Juan?
For me?
Yeah, you. When you finish with your cigarette, then
I believe I shot almost every kind of bows in.
Okay.
Yes. Because the Asian traditional bows has a lot of different style.
Yep.
The Japanese longbow I did. The Korean bow, they are shorter and can do very long drawn. I did that. Yeah. And the hornbow, Chinese traditional hornbow, I use them. And use the modern material like laminated, but made them like the Chinese traditional longbows. The bows, of course, I shot them. I also shot compound bows once, which is I hate them. I shot recurve bow for some time. I don't like, and different brands of American bows like Black Widow, Bob Lee's, Black Swan, Howard Hill, and the Liberty. A lot of different brands. Yeah, so I shot a lot of bows.
So, and your favorite is now the Howard Hill style bow, or?
Of course, it's
of course,
no doubt about it. Only Howard Hill is my true love. That's my true love. It's so different. It's simple. I also shot the Native American flat bow, the flat bow, and the English longbow made by you, very expensive. It's fine, but the Howard Hill longbow is so special. It's simple. It's elegant. But the way it shoots is so different. No other bow can give me that feeling of shooting. I just enjoy this shooting them. You cannot get rid of it. Just enjoy it.
There's no vibration. There's the simple, you know, I'm a fan of simple things, and a Howard Hill bow is so elegant and simple looking. And the best, in my opinion, is the bamboo limbs. These are very light limbs and fast limbs. Oh, I love them too.
Everyone, before they used Howard Hill longbow, they always thought it's slow, it's big vibration. Then I thought, just try, and they just shoot one, then keep shooting. Then they started just keep shooting. After a round, amazing bow. Everyone, amazing bow. So
but you both shoot your Howard Hill style bows with a slightly shelf where you can put your arrow on it, right?
Yeah.
Yes. You see, it's a very narrow arrow shaft, but it's actually the arrow never drop off. It's very stable, actually. It's very stable.
Because the origin,
because it's very narrow, so it has it will not disturbing the arrow. Because it's narrow, so it's simple, and only a few parts between the arrow and the shaft connected, so it has less disturbing. So it's very good,
do you like to shoot heavy arrows or lightweight arrows with your bow?
I like heavy arrows.
Howard Hill bows best perform with heavy arrows. They put all the energy into the arrow. That's why it's a good hunting bow, of course. They have talk.
You keep talking. You keep talking.
He's busy with his pussy. Cat.
Okay, I will talk. Okay, so for example, I got a 40 pounds Howard Hill longbow, and I shoot an arrow weighs, let's for example 400 grams. Okay, the speed is good. Then I shoot a 500 grams arrow. The speed is actually almost the same. Speed is not slower, it's the same.
Yes.
So that time I realized I should use heavy arrows. More speed, same speed, but heavier. Of course, it has more energy, and it feels also better. So
and you have no problems with the spine of the arrows. You can shoot very, very stiff arrows and very weak arrows. It's nobody as long as you don't.
Doesn't matter. I can shoot any arrow, just heavy enough. Then it's good. Is
there then a recommendation for arrow weight that you say, because you said now with 400 grain, 40 pounds would be 10 grain per pound. Is there a recommendation or a sweet spot that you say with 12 grain or with 14 or 15 grain per pound that performs the best? What's your experience?
For me, if you have 28 inches length, so the best is 11.5 grams per pound. Okay. 11.5. Yes, for me, that's the best. I believe Peter used heavier.
Okay.
I'm using the heaviest I can get. So if the if the naked arrow shaft has 380 grain or so, I put on a heavy point, 160 grain glue on point, and so on. So I like to make them heavy. And now I'm very happy with that Eastern aluminium shafts with shooting from the Howard Hill bow, and so it's nice. One, are you using fast flight strings on your Howard Hill bow?
No, I don't use that. I use a lot different arrows actually.
No, string.
Oh, string. I use the DC-97. The 97 string, not the fast flight. Because 97 has less vibration. Because fast flight is faster, no doubt about it. It's faster. But I want control. The control is better. I want to control it better, so I use 97. It's less vibration. I don't need to put any fur or something to control the vibration. Just a string, that is enough. So for me, the 97 is better for me. Yeah.
I'm using. I don't know that if it's something very tough fast flight kind material and endless strings, because in my theory the endless string don't stretches as much as because it's not twisted. And so I like that very dry sound. If you pluck the string and make tang tang, not like that other longbow boing boing boing, like a lot of vibration, but it's a very dry sound, tang, and that's what you get, a very hard dry shot.
And you know why? I think I know why Peter preferred the fast flight string and I prefer 97, because Peter is a so much better archer. The fast flight is difficult to control because it's still. So you need more accuracy about your
release
and body move. But I'm not that accuracy. So use a 97. It has more room to my mistakes.
More for mistakes. More forgiving. Do you use a glove or finger tap, or what do you use?
I use a tap because I hurted my tendons in my fingers, so I cannot use a glove. If I use a glove, I can use only these 3 fingers to hold the energy. But if you use a tap a metal tap, I can use my whole hand to hold that energy. So it's easier to my 3 fingers. And I can use at most 40 pounds bows. I cannot use any heavier because my fingers cannot hold them.
Okay.
You don't need.
Yeah, it's pretty sad for me.
You could still shoot left-handed, so it's fine.
Yes, switch.
Maybe.
Very nice talking. Very nice talking.
Never thought about that you could shoot left-handed.
Love it.
Left-handed. Then you have the full power of your fingers.
You could try.
Pardon me?
You could try left-hand shooting. Then you have the full power in your draw hand, and with the bow hand, it's fine to hold if your hand is not so.
It's another sad story because my left elbow also hurted.
We talked to a human or two replacement parts.
You can see I'm very skinny. I'm a very skinny man. I doing a lot working out and exercise, but I'm still very skinny. I'm not a strong man, so.
Strength comes from the inside.
Yes.
I'm not get to that level yet, so.
Only because you think so, you limit yourself. If you change the way of your thinking and you allow your inner strengths to be there, it will be there.
Now you are talking like a Chinese.
Yes, like a Tai Chi dancer.
Maybe, just maybe.
You need to give it a try at least. Yeah, you will see.
Yeah, I
believe in the Force. You can talk in Star Wars terms. Believe in the Force is with me and I'm with the Force. It's fine too.
That's Star Wars.
Yeah, something exactly. Yeah. Fine. Yeah, nice talk.
Fine.
Interesting.
Nice talking.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and so do some research about your legends and your female warriors and so on, and we can join again. No? We can meet again and talk about Chinese archery and
yes,
stuff.
I really want to meet you.
It was really nice to talk to you. Yes, and I hope you are willing to join again. Not that you didn't like it totally and you say, you listen, I don't come to you again. So if you want, we will invite you again in a few weeks and then we can have another talk.
Of course.
Yep. If you have a website address or something for your shop where people, I mean, I don't know if we have many people in China watching our podcast, but then we could put it.
Yes, I have a shop web in China.
Could put a website link in the description of the video, then just in case somebody sees it, then they can get in contact with you.
Yeah, we will do that. I have one more question, because we had a kind of list of, knife of the week and joke of the week and movie of the week and woman of the week and girl of the, and so on. And we have one point, it's called conspiracy of the week. So I'd like to ask you, are there also conspiracy theories in China?
Conspiracy. Pardon me for a second.
They don't even have a name for it.
I don't know this word. I don't understand this word.
Conspiracy. You know that the government is doing some things and telling other things to the people. As example.
Not only. Also about
as an example, that these twin towers in New York, with these two planes crashing in. This is all this. What the official media tells us is then for some people. They have a conspiracy theory that is not true. What the official meaning is, that these two planes flew in there and these buildings crashed. So and then there are people, they think that it was a controlled demolition and these planes were CGI and whatever. This is a conspiracy theory.
Or the Kennedy assassination. There are lots of different conspiracies. Who killed John F. Kennedy? It was.
I think they have one, that these bats in Wuhan transmitted the COVID virus.
Can you spell this word for me? I will use a translator. How to spell it?
Conspiracy. 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 SPI. RACY. Conspiracy.
What
conspiracy? Yeah, I know. You can say Armin to me.
CON what? Oh, conspiracy.
No.
Conspiracy.
Yeah, but you don't have in China, no.
No, I really don't know.
You're not allowed to have.
We have one about China. They say the virus in Wuhan, the Chinese said it's from a bat, from a bat, jumped over and so on. And some here say, no, it was made in a laboratory and not from a bat. And so, and that's a kind of conspiracy theory.
Oh,
you understand?
Okay, about the bad thing, I recorded. Yeah, I must say this. The bad thing, in my whole life, I have never, ever seen anyone who ate a bat. It's disgusting. I know no one ever ate a bat. I mean, who wants to eat a bat? It's disgusting. So I don't think that's the truth. That is the truth. I never see anyone eat a bat. I don't think it's a Chinese food.
Yeah, then there's only other solution, then it comes from the laboratory, yeah, right?
If I remember right, when that Ebola virus came up, they also said it came from bats who flew out from a cave, and the dung, the shit from the bats fell down on the scientists, and so that virus jumped over. Yeah. It's the same thing. We don't know.
Yeah. Nobody knows. Really, nobody knows.
But on the other hand, I think that's true. There are of course some some markets in China where they sell exotic animals and also for food. Oh, that's true.
Could you replace it? I'm not very clear about that. Let's make it short. Don't
misunderstand. In some parts of China, there are kind of markets where they sell exotic animals for eating. Maybe not bats, but different.
That is nothing exotic. We have everywhere bats.
No, I actually never see that in my life. Maybe many years ago, there had something, some people were doing this, but I never seen in my life.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
It's illegal. As I remember things, it's illegal in China. It's totally illegal. Anyone wanted to sell a wild animal in anywhere, he go to jail. Just go to jail. It's totally illegal in China.
Okay.
And if we go to hunting, it's illegal. So of course, sell wild animals is also illegal.
And so there's, because you say hunting is illegal, so there are no hunters, or are these some privileged guys who are allowed to hunt, or nobody could hunt, or how is it?
Some different races in China, because we have 56 races in China, and some races in China, the government respects their traditional, so only few of them can go to hunting because
I understand
traditional culture. But like us, we cannot do hunting. And as I know, we have only a few lands, few places in China. It's like a wood, and some people buy this land and just ground it. Then put some animals in it. You go to hunting. That's not hunt. That's just entertainment, and it's cruel to animals. I don't like that. I don't want that. Nobody wants that. So most of it is illegal. Hunting is illegal in China.
Okay. And I'm sure also owning firearms is illegal. No, nobody can own a gun or a rifle.
No, it's totally illegal. Even the, how to say, paintball gun. Paintball guns are illegal in China. And a crossbow illegal. But a bow is legal.
At least.
That's nice.
Bow is legal. Thank God.
Interesting.
Yeah, interesting.
We can see it in a good way because nobody can carry a gun, so it's safe here. I can go to the street anytime I want, even 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the morning. I can go to the street, totally safe.
That's what the government says.
Yes.
Totally safe. You don't need a gun because everything is safe.
And everybody is afraid of the government, so of course it's safe. I mean, it's
but for me, only one thing I cannot accept. Only one thing I cannot accept with the government: modified cars illegal. That's just
what is it?
Modified cars.
If I modified my car, it's illegal. If I buy second-hand car from other countries, it's illegal. Just fuck.
They simply
I don't know why. They're cars. They are not guns. They're cars. I really don't know why.
They darken the culture and the history of the country. When I don't know.
Nobody knows why. Nobody knows why.
Wow.
And so in that martial arts schools where they fight with swords or with spears, this is allowed, but only in the school. They're not allowed to take the sword out of the school.
It's like this. All the swords and the spears or the knives, blades they use, there has no age. If a blade there has no age, you can practice with. And also you are allowed to carry it around. Of course, you cannot use it at public places. I think that's reasonable, right? But if you have no edges on your blade, that's legal. You can practice, you can
okay.
Yes.
Training weapons, yeah.
Yeah. But if you have edges on it, that's illegal.
Okay.
Interesting.
And you guys know Hirmer. Just use
Hirmer, yeah, of course.
That's a popular sport in China now. Very popular.
Yeah.
It's interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
Done for today, huh? Sounds good.
Do you have some questions for us?
Let me see.
He's not prepared.
Actually, I saw a lot of different stuff from Europe, from Western world. So I know a lot of stuff. So for now, I cannot come out any questions.
Okay, no problem. Because that's your opportunity, because you have the most Western wisdom here connected in one place. Armin is the
Dalai. Peter is a Western guy.
Yes.
Armin is the Dalai Lama of archery in the Western world.
You are like a Master Yoda to me, just more handsome.
Oh, no, thank you. Thank you. A small guy with big ears.
You are so much more handsome.
Thank you.
Now you have quite big ears, you know. So what
maybe I see. My Yoda outfit.
Exactly. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
Then thank you very much for your time. It was really a pleasure to talk to you. It's always interesting to hear different cultures and backgrounds and what people are doing and when they are into archery, how, and it's always fascinating for me.
Yeah.
And you're a very interesting guy. And I wish you the best of luck for your business. Is this your own business? Is it a full-time job, or is it more your hobby?
Actually, I don't have a full-time job. I have a lot part-time jobs.
Okay.
So there, and plus together, there's some money.
Okay.
Nice.
Even more lucky we are that you had time for us with all these jobs.
Yeah. And we stay connected via Facebook and so on, and so we can re-invite you and we talk again if you like. So
yeah, but first he needs to do his homework and read a bit about Chinese history.
But he knew a lot about this female emperor and so on. He knew a lot about it.
There's a book, but I didn't read it. Yeah, he knows a lot.
Maybe I ask some of my friends who knows about Chinese history and let him talking with us.
Yeah.
I know some guys very interested in histories.
Yeah.
I mean, you have at least a history and an interesting history. You know, and at least there is still a lot, even if they burned all books, but even at least in these martial arts schools, everything was always transformed by mouth, you know, from the master to the student, and then again and again. So you have still a living history. Not like in Germany, everything was kind of like simply destroyed and we have nothing left.
Yeah, that's true.
It's very interesting to have this.
When
it's a quite rich history. I like it.
We said it in the past, when you're a German or Austrian and you say you're proud about your history and so on, they say you're a Nazi. But in China, it's different. You can say you're proud about your warriors and your old stories and so on.
5,000 fucking years.
In China, there was a big culture, a big empire when we were still in the trees.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know that.
We were eating bananas from the tree. And they had already a high developed culture. Yeah.
When they wrote books, when Sun Tzu wrote his book, we were still in the trees. That's why I really enjoy talking to Chinese people and to learn about that culture. I really love it. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Okay.
That's all, folks.
That's all.
Thank you very much for your time, and I hope we see you again soon on our channel.
Yeah, all the best to Nanjing.
Good luck with all your businesses and all your work and your health and everything. All the best from my side.
Thank you very much.
Best wishes, Kizi.
Best wishes to you guys too.
Goodbye.
Have a good time. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.